Here's every role-playing game I have ever played ranked from worst to best. Coming in at last place, the worst RPG I have played, Fallout 76. This was the end of my love for Fallout games. I've always preferred Elder Scrolls, but a couple of Fallouts that you will see higher up on this list were very enjoyable. But this was just plain boring. I don't even hate it, I am just indifferent. First off, this was supposed to be the most unique Fallout. In the end, turned out to be Fallout 4, but worse gameplay wise and visually as well. For a 2018 game, this is horrible, which can be overlooked if there was anything of substance. You have a wasteland, alright, no real story or meaning. Looting is the main gameplay mechanic, and there is pretty much nothing exciting to loot. Assassin's Creed Odyssey takes up the second last spot, the second RPG styled Assassin's Creed. I was so excited for this. I was into ancient Greece. I still think this is the best looking Assassin's Creed, but man was I bored fast. First off, all the things that made me a fan of this series, stealth, parkour, cool assassinations, all of that was either greatly reduced or totally ruined. You can't assassinate certain enemies, which makes sneaking through some enemy camps useless. You can't parkour because this is ancient Greece and there aren't enough buildings to run around on. I was done with the story early on. Cassandra was a good protagonist, but other than exploring ancient Greece, there is no appeal. Up next, we have the game that kicked off the Witcher saga, the original Witcher. This game is the definition of a diamond in the rough. It looks weird, plays pretty bad, but underneath it all you can sense a great game. In this case, it is mostly because of the world and characters that Andreas Sapkowski created. Gameplay was rough. Even the best in the series, Witcher 3 wasn't anything earth-shattering gameplay-wise, and The Witcher 1 is way worse. I went back to this after playing The Witcher 3 and 2 as well. At this point, I was already invested in the world and that made gameplay bearable. But if you go blind and play this in 2026, it is gonna be rough, in terms of gameplay at least. Up next, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. This was the least interested I had been for an Assassin's Creed. This was the third entry in this weird RPG trilogy that barely felt like Assassin's Creed. Vikings are the only reason I gave this a try, and I'm thankful I did. This game has some real high points. Combat is not Assassin's Creed like at all anymore, but it is fun. Swinging an axe at enemies feels like, well, swinging an axe around. Odyssey made me give up on the idea of this series being Assassin's Creed in anything but name, so I went in hoping for a big world, Viking lore, and some good combat. Valhalla gave me all of that. The world is big and it has a lot to do, like truly a lot. Most of it is filler, but Ubisoft have never been truly bad at creating open worlds in my opinion. Quests of course are average at best, but the physical world is fun to explore. Next on the list, Fallout 4. Coming out in 2015, the game had some serious competition. Witcher 3, Metal Gear Phantom Pain, Bloodborne. During the lead up, I remember everyone saying the best was yet to come. Fallout 4 came out in November after all those games, and it didn't make much noise after release. It wasn't bad, it was not Fallout 76, but it just felt like Fallout, which is not what you want when the last entry came out 5 years ago. There was very little innovation or creativity, even visually the game didn't look all that great, but the Fallout formula was perfected already with New Vegas and Fallout 3, so more of the same wasn't exactly all that bad. I enjoyed it, but was it the most memorable experience? No. Next we have The Witcher 2, a significant improvement over the original. Playing the game was actually fun. I wasn't just waiting for cutscenes anymore. Combat is better but still weird. I prefer Witcher 2's style, but damage, enemy skill level didn't make sense sometimes. But in typical Witcher fashion, you play this game for its plot and characters. The story here is much more focused, much more intense. Witcher 3 has sections of the campaign where nothing really happens story-wise. The storytelling still keeps you engaged. But this is like a limited series where you are on for almost the entire length of the game. Random encounters aren't even close to what came next, but if you play the game just to experience the main story, you will not be disappointed. Next, we have the first RPG Assassin's Creed Origins. This is the last game, at least resembling an Assassin's Creed, but playing this in 2017, you can sense how inspired Ubisoft were by The Witcher 3. I am mostly sure if Witcher 3 didn't get as popular, we might still have been playing actual Assassin's Creed games instead of whatever Odyssey and Valhalla are. Origins, on the other hand, doesn't totally jump ship. Bayek was the last great AC protagonist. Combat started getting frustrating. You can't assassinate high level enemies. Stealth is useless at times because of that. The world is bloated, way too big with too many empty areas. Parkouring for even 30 seconds non-stop is an achievement. Stealth and parkour, two selling points of the franchise, got worse, but as an RPG it is solid. Story is solid, progression is okay. Bayek makes the game for me. Side quests in typical Ubisoft fashion are repetitive filler, but there is a good game when you get rid of all the clutter. Next we have Elden Ring, one of the most creative RPGs you'll play. This is one of those games where exploration in itself is rewarding. Not because you'll get into interesting stories or fight bosses that don't even fit on the screen, though that is part of it, but just wandering around is rewarding. World design is creative, you never know what you're gonna see, and everything is just so damn mysterious and epic. I was at this foggy cliff and I had to fight so damn hard to not just dump down and most likely die. I'm not a big fan of this style of combat, but running into these mythic creatures is an experience in itself. This feels like a high fantasy novel that got turned into a game, which is surprisingly rare. Even The Witcher, which was adapted, feels grounded. Elden Ring has no ceilings, no limits. The world and the creatures in it are the highlights. Up next, Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Skyrim is the popular one, but Oblivion, even though it came out a whole 5 years before, still holds up, even the original. This was one of the first games where I got lost in the world. I wasn't playing it for the main story, even combat I wasn't a big fan, but the world of Oblivion is immersive. I was also blown away by how different each playthrough felt. I'd mostly played action open worlds before this. The replayability combined with just how much of a time sink the world was is what made this game so special. I used to just walk around barely progressing for weeks on end. Mind you, I wasn't even that invested in the plot, it was just for the joy of exploring. Oblivion, Skyrim and Elden Ring are on a different level when it comes to raw exploration. Next on the list, Fallout 3. Going back now to Fallout 3, you realize it's good, but playing this back when it came out, that must have been mind-blowing. The green tinted wasteland really changed open world RPGs. Bethesda's own Elder Scrolls Oblivion is the only one that was comparable at the time. You're dropped into this wasteland which is anything but. People have their own motivations. While it doesn't have New Vegas' level of freedom, it was revolutionary. I didn't get the appeal of playing an RPG in a post-apocalyptic world, but the characters occupying this wasteland are so interesting you will not want to leave. Up next, Kingdom Come Deliverance. KCD is a one of a kind. In the prologue, you fall in love with daily medieval life. Then of course Henry's parents get butchered in front of him and you realize what kind of world this is. But the unique thing is, the groundedness doesn't end as soon as the cutscene does. Gameplay is just as unforgiving, which is the appeal. Progression is also unique. Henry isn't the one getting better over the course of the game, it's you the player, learning new skills, combos. The challenge always comes from you not being good enough yet. It's refreshing in a world where enemies are turned into bullet sponges to up the difficulty. Once you do get skilled, enemies seem like a walk in the park. Of course, you will come across more skilled enemies, but it's a different kind of progression. Don't expect the game to let up though, ever. Even with the sequel, the original is still a one of a kind. It's a little rough around the edges like every game with a great vision, but if you can look past it, you have one of the best RPGs ever. Next on the list, Fallout New Vegas. Every time I play New Vegas, I think it is better than Fallout 3, then I play Fallout 3 and I prefer it. But today I have landed on New Vegas being the better game. Because it is better as an RPG in terms of choices, those set choices affecting the world. There are three factions in the game. Everyone you meet seems to operate in the gray area. People are trying to get one over you. This is the best part of the game. The politicking, the plots. It's set in a wasteland like other Fallouts, but it has more going on for sure. Gameplay is good enough, but I never played New Vegas or even Fallout the entire series for the crisp first person shooting mechanics. Next, we have Cyberpunk 2077. The version of the game today feels like a remake of the original 2020 release version because they didn't just fix bugs, which they did, but they have added gameplay elements, the GTA like star system, progression was changed entirely. All the improvements on an already amazing vision of a game is why it's so high up. This is another unique game, a futuristic RPG that actually plays well. The only real competition is Mind's Eye. I don't know if calling Mind's Eye a game that plays well is a bigger joke or comparing it to Cyberpunk is. While I still like Witcher 3's story elements more, gameplay wise Cyberpunk is so damn fun. Every big update added new gameplay mechanics. This got the treatment of a live service game, and the end product is a really good RPG. Next on the list, Skyrim. This is the game that paved the way for some of my favorite games of all time. I remember the first time I played Skyrim, I was forcing myself to like it because everyone said it was really good. I played for about 30 hours, enjoyed it, but I moved on. I was playing it like a regular open world, going from quest to quest, but this world is not meant to be played, it's meant to be explored. Once I slowed down, stopped caring about progressing, I started to see the appeal. But I'm not a die-hard Skyrim fan, but my favorite RPGs were inspired heavily by Skyrim. Which brings us to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. This series still feels unreal to me. It feels like a game tailor-made for me in so many ways, except for the first-person camera angle. This seriously feels like a game I've imagined in my head as the perfect thing. The brutal realism to the world and more importantly gameplay. Most games the world is brutal and unforgiving, but then the protagonist is a cool anti-hero who can put away small armies with ease. Henry on the other hand is hopeless. A little less hopeless in the second game, but it's still no cakewalk. The world is bigger and me personally I loved exploring KCD2 way more. The world is more varied, side quests are more interesting. The main plot in the original Kingdom Come Deliverance was more personal, serious, but here you're just a very fancy pawn in this big political game, so you run into basically everything. It's a long game filled to the brim with the weirdest shenanigans. Combat is the series' strength. KCD2, it's a little easier. Master Strike is definitely a little overpowered. You can force yourself to use other skills, combos, but the easiest, most efficient way is to wait in Master Strike, which gets repetitive of course. All in all, a few gameplay tweaks on the player's side and you will be challenging every peasant on the side of the road to a duel. That is how addictive sword fighting here is. And now my favorite RPG of all time, The Witcher 3. I had played RPGs before Witcher 3 came out, even the best ones, Skyrim, Fallout, but I never got obsessed with the genre. This changed that. For the first time, I was completely immersed in the world of an RPG for a long time. The first 10 hours I enjoyed, but it wasn't anything memorable. But then I switched to Deathmarch. The added difficulty made me use every last gameplay mechanic. For the first time, I was role-playing 100% as a Witcher. Just when I started loving gameplay, the story got really good. By the time I was in Novigrad, I no longer even wanted to do any witchering. I was happy running Geralt around, talking to everyone I can, because in my opinion, that's what makes this game so special. Interesting characters with complicated motivations. Nothing in this world is black and white. Some people are more good than bad, but there are no pure heroes or villains. That is one thing I hate about fantasies, battle of good and evil and all that. This world isn't like that. It's a lot messier. Gameplay is okay, it's nothing revolutionary. Combat especially is pretty basic for an RPG. But once you get hooked on this world, combat isn't why you will replay the game over and over again. Well, that was my list. Let me know yours in the comment section. Click the video on screen to see every stealth game ranked from worst to best. Like, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed this one. I am sure you will enjoy future videos as well. Thanks for watching and have a great day wherever you are.